Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Coffee and Headlines, our daily get-together live here on Facebook every day of the week at 10:30 in the morning, where we examine headlines, comments, questions, ideas, suggestions, thoughts about Puerto Vallarta and how to have a good life here in Puerto Vallarta as a community of English-speaking locals. It is always a pleasure to get together with you every morning and see a bunch of friends that join us on a regular basis. But if this is the first time that you're with us, my name is Paco, and we have a way in which you can let us know that you are new. If you write the word new on your, goodbye, Luna. If you write the word new on your comment, we will give you a proper welcome. So here we are. It's Wednesday. It is January 20th, and you know that Wednesday is Walking Wednesday. And we are going to have a yummy walk today. But before we go there, I'm going to throw a quick poll in on the screen so that we can all take a look at this. And let's see. Yeah, there we go. Do you feel safe in Puerto Vallarta? I will explain why we're asking this question in a second, but take your time answering. Let me very quickly see who is joining us today. Let's see what's going on. Good morning, David. It's great to see you. Cookie Lady, Araceli, te quiero mucho. Mwah. Cookie Lady, you recognize her wherever she goes. And if you haven't tried her cookies, you should try her cookies. They're absolutely good. James says, I might get a low turndown due to the inauguration. James, I don't care. Because the inauguration or some inauguration is happening elsewhere. Nobody's getting inaugurated here in Puerto Vallarta. And we are here to discuss wonderful things about Puerto Vallarta, as always, for locals, and the occasional tourist that joins us every now and then. Let's see. See, this is a nicer watch. Watching the whales in the bay this morning. Awesome. Of course, Scott has the San Francisco Bay in the background. So I don't know, Scott, if you're watching the whales in San Francisco or here in Puerto Vallarta, where it's also whale watching season. Let's see what else. Oh, no, I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to get political. I'm going to get slightly political, maybe, at the end of today's broadcast. But not definitely not very political. Well, how about some news? Let us get started with today's news, and we'll come back to the poll in a second once it becomes relevant. But first, news. Okay, we start with the least important bit of news, but this could be thought-provoking. I posted something on our Facebook page yesterday about this, something to the effect that those towers that you see on this photograph, these are the tsunami detection towers, just in case we should ever have a tsunami here in Puerto Vallarta, and they make a lot of noise. Yes, they make a lot of noise, just like you, Luna. No meowing during the broadcast. Either come up here or go meow in the bedroom. Anyhow, these towers make a lot of noise whenever there's a tsunami approaching Fortunately, we have not had a tsunami since they were installed. But please know that the Civil Protection Agency is going to be testing them today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow. So if you hear a strange and colorful siren, it is just a test. This is not tsunami season. But I wanted to get that out of the way in case you hear these towers starting to honk or something. Yesterday, we talked about the fact that the police force in Puerto Vallarta was taken over by the Secretary of the Marines, and that is still the case, but apparently there was some kind of wish-wash business on the information that was posted in the official paper of the state, which is where laws become official. Once they become published for the general public to see, they become official. So there was something published and then there was something eliminated. I'm not entirely sure what, but the news items, the important news item is that who is the person that is actually taking over the police force in Puerto Vallarta is none other than our governor. Yes, Enrique Alfaro will take indefinite control of the local police force. This is obviously a blow for our mayor, as we were saying yesterday, who obviously by the governor deciding to take over the police force is sending a very clear message that our own mayor has not been capable of handling police and therefore handling security in Puerto Vallarta. We are going to find out what this means or how security changes or how police enforcement changes in the days, weeks, months, who knows, to come. And we will actually see what this means for our city. Interestingly enough, at the same time that this is happening at a national level, this is not a local level, at a national level, the latest polls indicate that the perception of insecurity in Mexico increased to 68.1% from a previous 67.8%. These are polls that are conducted every now and then by the National Institute of Statistics and Geography. So nationwide, people feel less safe than they used to. However, in Puerto Vallarta, and what the fuck is that tourist doing climbing up on our new sculpture? Beats the hell out of me, but there he is. In Puerto Vallarta continues to be considered one of the safest cities in Mexico, and this is again the result of this poll. That is the survey that is conducted by the Institute of Geography and Statistics. So Puerto Vallarta joins cities like San Pedro Garza Garcia in Nuevo León, Los Cabos in Baja California, Mérida in Yucatán, Saltillo in Coahuila, La Paz in Baja California, and San Nicolás de los Garza in Nuevo León as the cities that are considered the safest in Mexico. So how do you feel about safety? Let us take a quick look at your answers, and it's good to see that 94% of you have answered that you feel safe in Puerto Vallarta. Only 6% of you feel that you are not safe in Puerto Vallarta. Let me take a quick look at your comments. Let's see. Are we walking today? Absolutely. Let's see. Margaret Barrett is new from Westminster. I loved. Oh, are you from Westminster, or are you new, or are you from New Westminster? I'm not sure, Margaret, but I'm so happy that you enjoy Walking Wednesdays. This is a good thing. Let's see what else we have. Let's see. Interesting poll. Paco, in 21 years of visiting to Puerto Vallarta, I have really only had one really negative experience. That was with the taxi union this year. Good to hear. I firmly believe that Puerto Vallarta is a safe city. I feel safe in Puerto Vallarta, but clearly clearly the local police force has not been doing their job properly because they have called upon our governor to come in and check things out. Is Governor Alfaro well thought of among Jalisco citizens? I'm not sure. I think he has a very high approval rating, although there are some detractors, as in any case. But I do think that he has a high approval rating. Angelica asks, did you know about a kidnapping that happened yesterday, but the police rescued the person and 4 people are in captivity? I don't know about this kidnapping. I didn't see it in the headlines that I perused this morning. But that is one of the problems with security, and one of the problems with what often goes on with these bad news. These bad news get covered under the rug, and so you have no reason to think that you might feel insecure. And this happens quite frequently. I think one of the changes that we're seeing in the government is that the government is not wanting to put so many things under the rug. And of course, that causes discomfort among those that feel like that is the way we should solve our problems. So that is a good thing. And I'm missing Lady Gaga singing the national anthem. Well, we'll have to get to that later on. Let me continue with the headlines that I have for you. And the next headline that I have for you is a gentle reminder from the city that all public spaces and parks are presently closed to avoid the spread of the coronavirus. This is what the city and the state have decided to do. And of course, there's a request to the citizenship not to get rid of the plastic tape and not to enter spaces that are not supposed to be used right now. And let me now take a quick look at your no new comments to share with you. So let me switch over to the weather. Boom. And here is the weather for today. Snarky Weather tells us I'm forecasting a 99% chance of a peaceful transfer of power. Let us hope that it is a higher percentage than that. It is 24 degrees Celsius, feels like 26, 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is higher than yesterday. It's 62% humidity. And our forecast for the day is overcast through the day with a high temperature of 27, low temperature of 20. Tomorrow, Thursday, partly cloudy through the day, high temperature of 30, low temperature of 20. Could it be that these very cold winter days are over? I certainly hope so. Friday, we can expect a partly cloudy day with a high temperature of 29 and a low temperature of 19. Now, I have 2 more things to share with you. One is my own. No, I didn't mean to go there. Let me close that just a second. There we go. I woke up this morning thinking about the world and about what's going on north of the border, and I decided to honor it with a little story that concerns these 2 individuals. You may or may not recognize them. They happen to be sitting at the piano is Roger Nichols, composer, and standing next to him is Paul Williams, a lyricist. And this story begins or takes place in 1970 when Hal Riney of the San Francisco-based advertising agency Hal Riney and Partners received a job from one of their clients, a small California bank called Crocker Bank. And Crocker Bank said, you know, we need a new commercial with a song that will appeal to young people. So a song was composed, or lyrics of a short jingle were composed, and the song played over footage of a couple getting married and just starting out. In the song, there was a direct reference to the bank at the end with the logo of the bank. And the commercial turned out to be very popular. But the problem that the bank had is that all the people that went applying for loans for newlyweds and so forth and so on became not eligible because they had no collateral. So the campaign was a flop. But the song caught the eyes and the ears of Richard Carpenter of the famous duo, the Carpenters, who not only liked the song, but he recognized the fact that the one singing the song was Paul Williams. And it so happens that Paul Williams and the Carpenters had one thing in common. They were both signed up for under the same record label, A&M Records. So Richard Carpenter approached Paul Williams and said, well, is this just a jingle or is it a complete song? And Paul Williams said, it is a complete song. And Richard Carpenter fell in love with it. And this is how the song We've Only Just Begun became not only a classic song for weddings in the English-speaking world, it launched the career of Paul Williams as a singer-songwriter. And of course, Paul Williams and Roger Nichols went on to compose other songs for the Carpenters, such as I Won't Last a Day Without You. And of course, We've Only Just Begun became the Carpenters' signature song. So I figured today was a good day to share a positive song with what seems to be a new era that is beginning north of the border. Let's see how it goes. And that is my little story about a song you may want to hear about today. I could have thought about some obnoxious songs, but I figured I would share a positive song. And that is what I have for you. And lastly, before we leave, well, actually, I'm going to share today's walk with you, and then I'm going to come back for goodbyes. And what this walk today is, another walk that is inspired by appetite. I went to what I affectionately called Senadoria Row, but please, please don't call it that. Don't call it that. Let us not create another English name that is not original or anything. There so happens to be a street right on the border of Versalles and Díaz Ordaz, the two neighborhoods that are nearby, where on the same block there are several Cenadorias, and Cenadorias are informal eateries where traditional Mexicans eat, and you can eat very affordably. So rather than telling you more about it, let me show you how the day went. Hello again. Once again, I am near my house and I am approaching the corner of Francisco Villa and Milan, and I am headed down Milan Street for a new adventure. Well, new for you, maybe, not new for me, but whoops. What we're going to do is we're going to go find something to eat. We are going to explore the world of Cenadorias, and I will explain what that is. But because we've walked down this street before, I am going to cross Francisco Villa, and now that I am standing firmly on Versalles, I am going to pretend that we are watching Bewitched and go like this. Bam! So I've walked about 8 blocks from my house down, what is this, Milan Street? And I am approaching the intersection of Milan and Roma Street. And what we're going to explore here today is the world of Cenadorias. Now, before we show you what a Cenadoria is all about, Cenadoria, the word Cenadoria comes from the word cena, which means dinner. So a Cenadoria is a place that offers dinner. Now, I know that there are a lot of restaurants that offer dinner, obviously, but Cenadorias are a little bit more of an informal place. Not quite as informal as a street taco stand, for example, but oftentimes Cenadorias are businesses that are operated by families out of their own homes. And what they do is they serve very traditional Mexican food at very affordable prices. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo se portan bien? Bien. No es cierto, ya los vi bajándose los pantalones hace un rato. ¿Cómo? So, anyhow, What is unique about this particular street is that in one block, there are 4, maybe 5 of these cenadorias that operate. So I've come to call this block Senaduria Row, although that's not a formal nickname or anything. I'm just mentioning it so that you can see what it's all about. And what we're going to do is we're going to see what the experience is like. For example, here I'm standing right outside of Senaduria Nestora. Muy buenas tardes. Senaduria Nestora is one of the several cenadurias that you will find in this block. And here's a very nice gentleman standing in front of me. I'm going to ask him how long he's been running the cenaduría. ¿Cuánto tiempo tienen con la cenaduría?
Aquí 10 años.
10 años. ¿Y es porque esto es de su familia? O?
Sí, es familia.
So this is a family restaurant. ¿Podemos pasar a ver?
Sí, pásame.
And I want to show you what it's like to come here. As you can see, muy buenas tardes. Buenas tardes. So this is Senaduria Nestora, and this is, you can see a selection of some of the things that they offer. They have pozoles, they have tostadas, they have enchiladas, flautas, gorditas, and so forth and so on. And all of these are traditional Mexican things that you can enjoy and order. And you have an option of sitting inside with the people that are cooking, or you have an option of sitting out here. The Senaduria somehow find a way to be creative and take over the sidewalk. And this becomes a really exciting evening experience. Let us go check out the next one, and we'll take a look at what they have, and we will come back. Vamos a regresar, ¿eh? Claro que sí. So that was one of them. They all have a very similar layout, very similar experience. Here is another one. This one is right at the corner with Vienna Street. And this one is called Senatoria Alicia. Buenas tardes, ¿cómo le va? So this is Senadoria Alicia, very similar to the other one that we visited. Here you can see that there's an overlap in some of the things that they serve. ¿Cómo les va? ¿Cuánto tiempo tienen con la Senaduría?
Como 30 años, yo creo.
Wow. Wow. So this Senaduría has been around for about 30 years. And you can see this one does have the prices displayed on the wall. And you can see that it is very, very affordable. They serve very similar things as the other one. And again, if you're looking for a neighborhood experience, con permiso, muchas gracias. This is a very traditional thing to enjoy. Now let me cross the street and go back a little bit on the block, because you'll find that there are other eateries on the other side of the street. I think I'm going to go back to Senaduria Nestora and order some food to go, but not before I show you what's going on over here. Let's see. Over here, this is not quite a Senaduría, but they're serving things on the outside. Buenas tardes. ¿Cómo están? So, ¿y aquí qué están sirviendo?
Taco.
Tacos de
Cabeza.
Ah, qué rico. So this one serves tacos de cabeza. And, I seem to have walked right past another one. This one is La Fonda El Patio, which is another informal eatery. And over here, this one that is completely closed, Senaduría Chepina. Now, I don't know if it's closed because they went out of business or maybe they're resting today. But the thing to keep in mind is that these Cenadorias offer a very traditional type of Mexican dining experience. Oof, I'm schwitzing. Anyhow, is this the only place where you will find Cenadorias? Definitely not. You can find a very traditional Senaduría in Colonia Emiliano Zapata, for example. It is called Senaduría Celia. And you can enjoy that. And just about every Mexican neighborhood has a Senaduría. But because these are the ones that are close to my house, this is what we're going to do. Now, today, I'm not going to sit down and order a meal because I have a lot of things to do in the house. But what I'm going to do is, let me show you. I'm going to order some pozole para llevar, or pozole to go. And I have brought with me my own container, because they probably have their own containers, but I want to be ecologically friendly. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for an order of pozole, and we'll find out what the options are. Jefe, buenas tardes. Ahora sí, pozole para llevar, por favor. Aquí, ¿cuánto cabrá? ¿Uno grande o uno chico?
¿Uno grande o uno chico que guste?
Uno grande, ¿cuánto cuesta?
El normal 80 y el surtido 85.
Ok, entonces deme uno grande surtido, por favor. ¿Y es carne de?
De puerco o de pollo.
De puerco de pollo.
Lengua, pierna, pollo, cuerito, chamorro.
Ajá, ok. Deme uno de, I'll explain what's going on in a second. Deme uno grande surtido, por favor. So, what has just happened? ¿Me puedo sentar?
Sí, yeah.
Gracias. Okay, so I'm sitting down and waiting for my pozole to go to be ready. And what has happened is I was given a choice of getting a large one or a small one. And I was also given a choice of whether I want to put chicken on it or whether I want to put pork meat on it. I am sure that you could also order a vegetarian one if you wanted. In my case, I ordered a pozole with pork meat and an assorted pieces of pork meat, which means that I'm going to get a little bit of actual meat, and then I'm going to get other innards that might make some people uncomfortable, but I find that they make the experience very, very flavorful. One more thing to keep in mind. You know, we recently talked about a place called Pozolitlan, and the advantage of a place like Pozolitlan is that you can have a more of a restaurant experience. I don't want to say safe, but it's more of an established experience. For some, coming to a cenaduria might seem a little bit adventurous. It really boils down to your comfort level. But ultimately, this is the way we eat. This is the way we have for many, many centuries, I suppose. Families that create these businesses from home and just start serving food for others. Now, I also don't know how formally or informally these businesses are sanctioned, whether they are an advantage or a disadvantage when you compare them, for example, with a restaurant, which needless to say needs to get official permits and this and that and the other. But this is definitely a very traditional Mexican experience you can enjoy. And again, what I'm calling Senadoria Row here in Colonia Diaz Ordaz, we are right on the edge between Versalles and Diaz Ordaz. I think this street is part of Colonia Diaz Ordaz. This is one block in Roma Street, and you can see a huge container. Check it out. A huge container of pozole is just arriving. It's being taken into the kitchen, and this is very exciting because we're going to be able to get a nice dinner to go. Although, again, the experience is very nice when you enjoy it as you're sitting down. So I'm going to continue waiting for my dinner, and I'm going to leave you the location of these places in a map that you're going to be able to take a look at, so that if you happen to find yourself sitting in this part of town, you come and check it out. If you are in Emiliano Zapata, I can definitely recommend Senadoria Celia. It is one of the most traditional cenadorias in the whole city. And I've eaten there many times, and I run into very restaurant people there as well. But living in this neighborhood, I am so grateful that this place is so near my house. And ironically, this is less than 2 blocks away from Pozolitlan, where we had a wonderful experience not too long ago. So if it is within your comfort level to try one of these very traditional Mexican eateries, I totally recommend it. And that's it. I know that I'm going to have a great dinner tonight thanks to this particular experience. I hope you've enjoyed this little adventure with me, and I will let you know tomorrow how the pozole was. Have a great day. And there you have it. That was our little walk of the day. Let me take a quick look at some of your comments because you had some excellent comments that I want to address. James asks, is it the same thing as a loncheria? It is not. Loncheria comes from the word lunch, which is a daytime meal. So it is not the same thing as a loncheria. Yes, Jorge, it is appropriate, but it is also strange when you live in a city in Mexico where all of a sudden there are all these names in English that are just like creeping in like Old Town and South Side, et cetera, et cetera. I called it Senadoria Row just to make, just to give some contextual information. But please, please, please don't make it popular. We don't want any more names in English in a city in Mexico. Where is the Senadoria? It is on Calle Roma, between Milan and Vienna, which is my favorite. I don't have a favorite, Joe, because they all serve very home-style food, although I think I've been to Senaduría Nestora more frequently than the others. Tony comments that Senaduría Celia only opens in the evening. That is why they are called Senadurías. They offer dinner food, and as such, they are always only open in the evenings. I also saw this reaction to the container thing. One of the disadvantages with these loncherias and many small businesses is that they haven't caught up with the importance of reducing styrofoam use. Rather than chastising them, I choose to just bring my own container, and I encourage you to do that if you ever visit one of these places and ask for food to go. That would be my best solution. And let's see what else. What else? Yes, it is a very good portion of food. I mean, I actually didn't get to eat it last night because I was not hungry. But I have that whole container of pozole. I believe it was 1.5 liters or 2 liters. And that will be more than enough food for me to eat today and possibly even into tomorrow. And that was only 85 pesos. So it is a great, great affordable meal. And I suppose I just answered Dan's question. Again, that container that I purchased was 85 pesos, and that's because it had like the more expensive meat. I am sure that if I had the chicken, in fact, the gentleman said that it was 80 pesos if it was just regular meat and not like the combination. Senadoria Celia was one of the first places we ate at many years ago when we wintered in Emiliano Zapata. It is a divine place. Senadoria Celia is probably the most traditional cenadoria in Puerto Vallarta. And with La Cuadra, Calle de las Cenadurías, oh, we would love that. We would love that. Of course, they don't call themselves that either. They just happen to be 4 great eateries that are located in the same block. Earlier, I caught comment from someone that asked, do I ever do evening walks? I'm not usually out in the evenings all that much, but I had the thought of going out at night and doing a walk around Puerto Vallarta in the evening has crossed my mind. One of the challenges that I have is that my little 360-degree camera, which I use to record my walking tours, is not really good in low light situations, but I will definitely give that a go at some point. And of course, I want to tie that in with what happens at this particular Calle de las Senadurías. It is a lot of fun to see it at night, because at night, you know, they take over the sidewalk, they have their tables outside, so you can enjoy a really fun traditional al fresco dining experience. And that brings us to the end of today. As always, I am so grateful for your company. I realize that some of you are going to catch this broadcast later on today, but that's perfectly fine. The important thing is that we continue to make important connections between us and the neighborhood. Maybe an evening walk during the art walk would be a lot of fun. Once art walks are happening again, is the flea market area open? Asks Dawn Marie. Oh my goodness, I have no idea of what flea market area you are talking about. Unfortunately, Puerto Vallarta has many of them. So if you can be a little bit more explicit, I would certainly be happy to answer it. It seems like I will have to answer that later on because we're wrapping up today's broadcast. As always, thank you very much for being a part of our community. Thank you very much for supporting our community and supporting our projects, because it is thanks to your kind support that we're able to sponsor all these walks and all these adventures. Stay happy, stay calm. We've only just begun We'll see what that means in the days, months, weeks, years to come. But in the meantime, come back soon because we're here every single day of the week. Have a great day.